If you ever go to the gym and you see a random bucket just sitting next to the weights, trust me, there's a good use for it. Now, full disclosure, I kind of overdid it last night and it has been a rough day. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get through this video, but I have some receipts. I have some things I need to share with you guys. Just kind of bear with me. My voice isn't what it is. I've been up all night puking. I've only gotten about 2 hours of sleep, but we do have to get a video out. No question. Now, the big story. Can anybody name for me one time that Governor Desantis has ever specifically gone after Donald Trump for anything? And believe me, there's a lot he could. Has he ever done this once? I do get why Trump is doing what he's doing. Now he's come after the entire state of Florida. Apparently we're the worst in this category, in that category, in this other category. But I have a receipt. I have something that is going to blow your mind. Something that one of Donald Trump's lackeys did without doing their homework. And now we are going to prove something that Donald Trump, for all of his talk about conservatism and being a Republican, is truly surrounded by liberals. How many of you know who Jesse Watters is? Of course, he's a big popular name over on Fox News with Tucker Carlson. Recently, one of the big, complaints that Donald Trump has voiced about Governor DeSantis' performance is this issue of squatting and property rights. These homeless folks will find a property that's seemingly abandoned. They'll move in, they'll change the locks, and then it's kind of a civil matter to get them out. It takes some time. Now, that happens everywhere. Some places tolerate it more than others. It's not flat across the state of Florida that it's a big problem. And I'm going to show you video of this later on. Real quick, though, 2 minutes. I always want to say thank you. I always want to be diligent to everyone who continues to join us here. I know we talk about some things that make some folks uncomfortable, but when you use psychology and not your feelings, you can start to see things and see the truth on the battlefield. And make no mistake, this is a psy-war battlefield that we are all on. You need the tactics, you need the techniques. Over at the Florida Maquis Patreon channel, where a lot of you have joined us, thank you so much for that dollar. It makes a huge difference. It really does. I have it set at the lowest allowable level. For that reason, I want everybody filing in over there. And like I said, first 90 days, first 3 $1 charges. If it's not for you, you can get all 3 $1 charges back. If you want to pay less than $1 a month, you can sign up for an entire year and still in the first 90 days get that refunded if it's not for you. So join us. We can take the gloves off over Vimeo. Now, here is the receipt. Here is the thing that's going to blow your mind. Fox News Flash, published 22 April 2023, 8 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Florida landlord sounds the alarm over state's squatter problem. Property rights in this state are absurd. Patty Peoples tells Jesse Watters Primetime she has had enough of squatters' rights. Now, this is basically a hit piece on DeSantis. A Florida landlord is speaking out, raising awareness about a squatter problem. Now, you would think, oh, this poor old woman just barely getting by. She's probably got a little home of her own, and maybe, she's got some extra money, and she has a little rental property that, she uses. And these horrible people came in and destroyed everything, and she's, on her last $5, and she can't even afford a gallon of milk at the store. What's Governor DeSantis going to do about that? You see, this is the game. Patty Peoples shot a video inside the property showing holes in the walls, doors ripped off, hinges, feces on the carpet, blah, 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 blah. She confronted the squatters, and they got taken. Apparently, somebody said they owned the property that didn't, and took a deposit from them. Now, this is when she lost control of her property, and she goes through all of this. Now, you're thinking, well, yeah, Governor DeSantis needs to, let this whole thing with Disney go, and, he needs to forget this stuff with Blood Light, and he needs to focus on the people of Florida. Really? Really? So I'm just going to confirm here. This is Fox. This is Daily Mail using the same woman. And you can go watch the video at Fox. Patty Peoples is the name. Now, what if I told you Patty Peoples is a huge anti-Trump leftist who is actually farther to the left of Joe Biden. You go to her Facebook, you find out who this is. President at The People's Collaborative, former Vice President, Evidence and Scientific Content at Scientist.com, former founder and CEO at HealthEconomics.com, former Senior Director, Medical Affairs and Health Economics at Alza, former Product Manager, Sandimmune at Novartis, hint, hint, studied PhD in Health Economics at University of Sciences, Philadelphia. You go through her Facebook, she virtue signals for Elizabeth Warren. She virtue signaled for Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Here's her virtue signaling for the war in Ukraine. Here's her virtue signaling for Black Lives Matter. And here's all the way back 5 June 2020, where she posted this. Tone-deaf sociopath announces that 13% unemployment means today is a great day for George Floyd. She is a huge anti-Trumper. And here's her husband. This is her husband's profile, where they virtue signal at their screening of Hamilton. So let me get this straight. Fox News brings on one of the most anti-Trump leftists in Florida, who's absolutely doing perfectly fine. This is somebody in her position. She's a 1%er, at least a 3%er with what she makes. Guarantee it. The properties that she's talking about, the $40,000 of damage, where she lives, plus the property she owns, she's doing just fine. She is one of these hyper-elite leftist liberals up in Jacksonville. And I knew when I saw the story that's who this was, because they're the only ones who would complain. Now, you remember when I said I had video that it's not always that way in different parts of Florida? Well, here is our sheriff right here in Palm Coast, right here in Flagler County, doing this exact same thing and telling the people, you come back, you're going to. Now, he says the Green Roof Inn, that's their pet name for the prison here. And trust me, in Flagler and Volusia and St. Johns County, and especially Clay County, Florida, you do not want to cross these guys in conservative Florida. So let's listen to a 2-minute section from the Flagler County Sheriff's Office on how we deal with squatters.
Flagler County Sheriff Rick Staley. This started out as a nuisance abatement problem house that made the sheriff's high interest target list. We've had an overdose death at this house. We've had all kinds of complaints at this house, and transients had taken over this home. The homeowner that does not live here worked with us to trespass 8 people that we found in this house, all transients. So this home is being returned to the homeowner. We appreciate her cooperation, unlike some other nuisance abatement homes that we've had to close down. And now if any of these people come back, we will arrest them and they will go to the Green Roof Inn. If you go back inside this house or anywhere on the property, you will be arrested for trespassing. Everybody understand that? I'm not playing around. We're done playing around. So we are working hard with our deputies and using every law possible to clean up this community so that the good people that live here can enjoy a quiet cul-de-sac without having to put up with the trash that's been living here as a transient. So they're gone. We're going to allow them to get a few things, but if they come back, they're going to jail. My suggestion is leave Flagler County, because wherever you go, we're going to find you. And if you do this crap again, or you do your drugs and you have another overdose, we're going to do everything we can to lock you up. Everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And if they don't think we'll do that, ask some of the others that didn't believe our nuisance abatement orders, because they're all sitting in the Green Roof Inn now, and I have plenty of vacancy. So if you have a home in your neighborhood, like I just described, call us, send us a tip at tips@flaglersheriff.com, because we want to clean up your neighborhood for the good law-abiding people that live in Flagler County and Palm Coast.
Now, I don't think that was, pardon me, ambiguous in the least. And they will, trust me. If there's one thing that you could possibly say might be perceived, and this is really kind of a gray area, that might be a negative for those coming to Florida, those who aren't from here. If you think you're going to come here and you're going to play games with the authorities, you might as well just pack up and leave. Because once you cross them down here, once you get on their radar, you're toast. You are absolutely toast. And listen to what the man said. We suggest you leave Flagler County and don't come back. Notice he didn't say, oh, we have some program for you that we can now put you over here and we can mollycoddle you and hold your hand and let you do drugs for... Notice he didn't say that. He said, get the hell out of our county. If you come back, you're going to rot in prison. And he ain't the only one. Actually, he's one of the nice ones. There are sheriffs down here that are way to the right of Rick Staley that have absolutely no problem rolling up with paddy wagon after paddy wagon after, and they will just cuff and stuff until, everything is back to law and order again. Now, real quick, this is where I live, Palm Coast. And like I said, there was we're not perfect. There's homeless up in St. Augustine as well. But I've never once that I've lived here ever felt unsafe. Ever one time. I mean, if you really want to cross a nasty sheriff, cross the Volusia County Sheriff. Daytona, they don't mess down there. They had a police officer that got shot down there. Within, I think it was a matter of just a few hours, they had 200 or 300 volunteer police officers come from other jurisdictions on their time off, their day off, to help with the search for the guy that shot him. They had hundreds of sworn law enforcement in a matter of hours combing all the way through from New Smyrna all the way up here to Palm Coast. And they were checking everything. And it was only a matter of hours. They just don't play. So this garbage, this crap that Trump's trying to put out, he's talking about a specific case up in Jacksonville of a Trump hater, a hyper-wealthy leftist Trump hater who has insurance for all this. It's perfectly fine. Trump team says Desantis, Florida, among the worst states to work, retire, or raise a family. And that came right from the campaign. This Stephen Chung, and look that guy up. And he's literally saying, oh, DeSantis is one of these globalists like Scott and Bush. Here's 27 August 2018. Rick Scott of Florida doing a fantastic job as governor. Jobs are pouring into the state. Economic health better than ever before. He is strong. Just absolutely in love with Rick Scott here. Here's, when is this? October 2018. At Ron DeSantis, Florida. DeSantis is working hard. Great congressman and top student at Harvard and Yale. Isn't this the bullshit that all these anti-DeSantis people are trying to run out? Oh, he was skull and bones. Didn't seem to bother Donald Trump in 2018. Ron will be a record-setting governor for Florida. Rick Scott gave him a tremendous foundation to further build on. Some more wonderful... And this is the pack, the DeSantis pack. Donald Trump has, and this is a quote, this is from Never Back Down, Chris Jankowski. Donald Trump has so deeply disparaged the state of Florida by calling it the worst state. We at Never Back Down will help him leave by offering financial assistance to help him move to his beloved California or Bedminster up in New Jersey with all of his liberal friends, or back to Trump Towers with all the liberals up there, so he can be close to his good buddy Gavin Newsom. And I've got the receipts on that too, whom he loves so intensely and gets along with so well. The good news is that since so many people are moving to the state of Florida, thanks to the incredible success of Governor Ron DeSantis, no one will notice when Trump leaves. The state of Florida will be better off when Trump takes his Soros-fueled dumpster fire of a campaign to San Francisco, where it will fit right in. And here's Fox covering this as well. Now look, pro Bud Light Don Jr. is madly in love with Kim Guilfoyle, who fell madly in love with Gavin Newsom. This is Kim Guilfoyle and Gavin Newsom on the left, Kim Guilfoyle and Don Jr. See, Gavin Newsom and Don Jr. would both agree on the Bud Light thing, that everybody who's boycotting is just a bunch of crybabies. And, well, I don't know if I should use this because that would make me kind of petulant, but they are all known for a certain very open and sharing relationship paradigm. Let's just leave it there. So anyway, if you want to check what Donald Trump says and everything he said, here's his truth profile. You know, I can't believe I actually made it through this. I'm just, I don't know how any reasonable, rational person can look at this and understand any kind of strategy. Some have said, oh, they're playing a game. That's horseshit. You don't call Florida the worst in this, worst in that, worst in the other, and then bring on an anti-Trump hating leftist pro-Biden liberal. I mean, if you don't believe me, here it is. I'll give you the link. First pinned comment. Don't look in the box. Don't look in the description box. First pinned comment. Facebook.com/PATTI-PEEPLES62. Patty Peoples. And she's got all sorts of photos showing the anti-Trump receipts. Pro-Elizabeth Warren, pro-Ruth Bader Ginsburg, pro-war in Ukraine, pro-BLM, anti-Trump, mask signaler, mask virtue signaler. And believe me, there's a lot more. These are just the examples. So, anyway, I will leave it there, but thank you for your patience. I very much appreciate it. And those of you who could, if you'd like, join us over at Patreon. I think you would very much enjoy the content over there. Like I said, it's only $1 US per month. A lot of people have said, make it higher. You know, just make it $3, and then maybe you don't have to do commercials every day. It's not really about that. The larger a group of people I have over there, the better. The more people you have, the more they share the word, and the more that show up. If you just have a very tiny group of people, and you're charging them a lot of money, you know, things can happen. And, you know, you can have folks that pull out, and also you'll have folks that'll try to strong arm you. With everybody just paying $1, nobody's any more important than anybody else. Everybody pulls together. So I'll leave it there. God bless. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.